Have you ever worked with a travel agent and wondered how exactly they get paid, but were afraid to ask? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I get paid as a travel agent and also provide some tips for you when choosing a travel agent for your next vacation. Hi, my name is Ben Tennis, pronounced just like the game tennis, and I own and run my own travel agency. And my goal for this channel is to help vacationers overcome planning challenges by providing up-to-date travel resources to help plan their next vacation. So let's get into it. The first question you might be asking is there a difference between a travel agent, a travel advisor, or a vacation specialist? And the answer is no. They're all the same. This depends on what the travel agent wants to be called. I myself like to be called a vacation specialist. I think that has a better description for what I do. So I plan everything from the beginning of your trip, plan out your entire trip from beginning to end, and also I'm available 24/7 when your trip actually does occur in real time. So let's talk about how I get paid. It works very much like if you were to work with a financial advisor. So I'll use that as an example. So if you have a financial advisor, you know that you don't pay them directly. They work with an institution, so you give them your money to invest in, and then they choose a financial institution such as Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade or BlackRock, and then they open an account with them. And because they open an account with them, that financial institution will give the financial advisor a commission check for managing that account for them. So that idea works very much like how a travel advisor or travel agent gets paid. So when I book your trip with a supplier that I work with, that supplier gives me a commission for booking that trip with them. So let's talk about what a supplier is. Now, a supplier, as I mentioned, going back to the financial advisor example, a supplier for them would be that financial institution like Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade. Now, for the travel agent, a supplier for them would be like a Royal Caribbean or Carnival or Disney would be also a supplier. So when I book through them, if you were to book a trip with me, I would choose a supplier. Let's say I chose Royal Caribbean. I book with them, and then they would send me a commission check for that sale of that trip. So let's talk about fees. And going back to the financial advisor example, some financial advisors do charge a small fee in addition to the commission they get. And likewise, travel agents do also will charge a fee sometimes if you were to choose to book with them. So this would be as much, it could be as little as $20 or it could be as much as $500 depending on the complexity of your trip. So the reason a travel agent would charge this fee is because they just don't like to work for free. So say you call up a travel agency and you want them to plan your trip. They get all your information, and then the travel agent gets to work and research the trip, and then they give you a quote and they give you kind of the details of the trip, and you're like, great, this is great. And then you go online and you find it for a little bit cheaper, and you're like, I'm just going to book this direct. So because of that, the travel agent just wasted, hours of their time for free. They just gave you a trip kind of just for free. And they don't like doing that. Travel agents don't like to work for free. They have families, and they have to provide for their families and make a living themselves. So that's one reason why they would charge a fee. The other type of options I've seen travel agents do is take a deposit. So if you want them to do the research on the trip and get you a quote, they will get you a booking deposit, a non-refundable booking deposit. So either way, they would apply that deposit to the trip cost. So you wouldn't be out any additional money off the trip. And if you decide not to do the trip with that travel agent, then they would pocket that booking deposit. So they would they get paid either way. And then lastly, there's also agents that do not charge fees, and I am one of those people. I haven't been in a situation where I needed to charge a fee. I believe my service speaks for itself. My value as a travel agent speaks for itself. And if you want to book direct, that's great. That's on you. If you like planning your own vacations and spending the time to do that, you don't need me. I just take the commission from the trip that you would book with me, and that's that. So try to give myself a little bit of a competitive edge doing that, because most agencies do charge a fee. So if you're looking for a travel agent, you might consider me. So let's talk about commission percentages. What kind of type of commission percentage does a travel agent typically make? So there is probably a wide range depending on the supplier that they use. So it could range as low as 10% all the way up to 18%. And it just depends on the supplier. So I can't give specific percentages for different cruise lines or different land suppliers that I use, because they're all negotiated rates. So I'll just leave it at that. And then that leads me to the next question that you might be asking is it more expensive to book with a travel agent than booking direct? So it depends on the agency. If they charge a planning fee or a service fee just for doing a quote with them, then yes, it would typically be more expensive to use a travel agent. But typically, in my experience, usually I can get the price down pretty close to what you would find online with added perks. We can get different perks with different suppliers. So that is a different added bonus for you. But I would say half the time we can usually price match what you can see online. So not only do you get the price that you want, you might get some extra perks, but you also get the service that comes with it. And if you haven't seen my first video, you should check that out, about my 5 top reasons why you should consider using a travel agent for your next vacation. And lastly, I'll just provide a couple tips here if you're looking to choose a travel agent for your next vacation. My first tip would be just to find a travel agent that you feel comfortable working with. It's a personal relationship. I mean, a good travel agent should be listening to your wants and needs, what you want on your trip. They should not try to be upselling you to more expensive products. And then you want your travel agent to be knowledgeable in the destination you're going to. Do they know that area well enough to answer your questions when you're asking them? And lastly, I'll just add this. You might want to ask your travel agent what their availability is like when you're on your trip. Now, if they're only available during their normal business hours, then it's probably not going to be a good fit to you. If something happens to your trip, you want your travel agent to be available to resolve that issue. A good travel agent will do that. Even if you're all the way on the other side of the world, like maybe Australia in a different time zone, and you have an issue and you call them up and it's like 2:30 where they're at in the morning, they should answer the phone, because it is their trip that they booked for you. They know all the details of your trip, and you don't want to be left standing somewhere wondering what to do because you can't get a hold of the person who booked your trip for you. So just make sure that travel agent is going to be there for you if there's an issue during your trip. And I'll just add one more thing here. One little thing here is, if you can find someone local that you can meet in person and get to know them, that's even better, because then you develop that kind of personal relationship with them. The more your agent gets to know you as a person, the better they can plan for your vacation and plan a customizable trip based on what they know about you as a person. And that leads to a better vacation experience, a better relationship, less stress for you, than knowing that someone on a personal level is planning your trip. And I think that goes a long way. So thank you so much for watching this video. And if you liked what you saw today and you like this kind of travel information content, make sure you hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with my future videos. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next video.